Welcome to another Motortown post-event race commentary. Today we are here for the Formula Frenzy event, which is one that I organized myself. I picked the tracks, I picked the car, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. So we are going to get started here on Anson Raceway at night. 7 laps, pretty full field, and yeah, sadly by default the car doesn't come with any lights but on the rear, so it's going to be a bit dark. Should hopefully still be alright because after all the track is well lit for the most part. And here we go. About 15 players it seems. Having a bit of a run in with this guy over there, so yeah, off to a great start, I guess. One thing that's a bit special about this is that I actually have multiple cars in this race. I'm driving my own Formula SCM that I got a long time ago on this character. But there are 3 others that I lend out to other people. We are going to see them occasionally, but they have, for the most part, the same upgrades as I have. I actually want to make them all identical to what I have, but I messed up the FDR in some cases, just like how I messed up the corner here. So basically I have 2 FDR settings. The other one is actually on a different car that looks identical otherwise. And that's for tracks that require higher top speed. This one is with a really short FDR of 3.55. So this is really meant for those tracks that don't have a long straight, so you get better acceleration instead. And I'm currently very far behind, but yeah, at least I'm to the rear end of the field, but there are a few people who I could potentially catch back up to. But yeah, there are going to be a few others on the track that are driving my cars. You can maybe see them on the map there. ADEC right in front of me, that's one of them. And for the most part, they did a lot better than me. One of them at least won one of the races, so it's not my setup that's failing, it's the driver. And yeah, one thing that turned out to be a problem after the race is that I actually have way too strong brake power. So that's something to take care of, and that's something that I adjusted after the event, but yeah, of course, for the stuff right now, that's still going to be a problem. And yeah, the other guy is trying to overtake me again. I don't know which one it is. I have 3 different cars that I gave out. One of them is just the color swap on my own livery, and where we can see it, that's exactly what that dude is driving. Nice presentation just spinning around. You know what, let's go back and appreciate that for a moment. Because I'm really happy with how that turned out. And I mean, this is as good of a showcase as I could hope it to be. The thing is, part of the livery, the orange on mine and the silver on this one, that's part of the default livery. I get a few nice little decals over here. I tried color matching this little part right here, but didn't have that much time. So the pink is, yeah, just, it's something. Doesn't really match what it's supposed to be, but hey, close enough in my opinion. Okay, going on. But yeah, that's one of them. The other one is a classic Martini livery, and the last one is Gulf inspired. I think those people are way too far ahead for me to show you any of those. Hopefully we'll encounter them in later races. But yeah, as far as suspension setup and everything else, apart from the FDR, they should be all identical. Very soft on the rear, went with 50% strength, and maybe I should try and make the font softer as well. I'll have to fiddle around with it a bit more. I mean, I got a few cars I can test with right now. Basically what happened is I knew that the Formula SCM is about the least accessible vehicle in the game. And since I still have a lot of the stuff in my single player world, like the empty boxes. Oh yeah, that's Hans in my other car that I've given out. This is obviously the Golf livery. Maybe we can get a bit closer to have a better look at it, but yeah. So I knew that on my main character, just in the world, I still have stock from before the supermarket update. Right now, after supermarkets, it just doesn't really spawn the boxes anymore. They still occasionally pop up, but it's so rare that it's really hard to get them. But I could get them easily enough to just get a few cars produced. I have a few millions on my character, so I decided to just go for it. And yeah, I made 3 new liveries, got those 3 cars, and it all worked out beautifully in my opinion. And yeah, in the end, this is all to counteract the problem of the Formula SCM not being that easily accessible. So since I can just get a few pretty easily for myself, I just tuned them up and gave them out to other people who otherwise would not be able to race alongside us. And here we are almost halfway through, so this should be the 4th lap over here. In the end, I'm not really making much ground, I'm not gaining positions, but I'm also not being run out of the race otherwise. I mean, that's 2 easy overtakes after those people took out each other. So at least I'm able to keep up with the midfield. But yeah, after we got more tuning options, after we got those 50% stiffness springs, and after I felt like how much better the car can be with those equipped, I thought why not give this another try. The car just drives so much better now than it did before. It's still quite the handful, but now I would say it's definitely manageable. And that just is a good balance for making this much more fun than what it used to be. And yeah, I got overtaken by Hans pretty effortlessly, it seems, back in 11th. I really should reconsider who I give the cars to. They cannot all perform better than me, that's kinda embarrassing. And yeah, the last person who took a car is Blumen, who is currently in 4th position, so far cry from what I can do. And yeah, as per usual, some people made makeshift spoilers, which also got a lot easier now that we have a different and much better attachment system. I've been considering to do something like that myself, but for now, what I've done is actually add a few marker lights. So I put one on the tip of the nose of the car, so not on top, but actually on the front that's pointing down. And also 2 more on the back as additional brake lights. And yeah, that maneuver there, likely a bit of lag involved. But that's one way to put me down a place. But yeah, overall, when it comes to adding spoilers to the cars, I'm a bit on the fence. I can't fully shake the fact that they are light fixtures, and people are just using them as spoilers. But yeah, I'll have to see what I do about this stuff in the future. I think maybe having one of the cars set up like that would be kind of fun. But we'll have to see. I think for this being like a spec racing event, maybe not allowing the stuff would be kind of neat, but then again, the car costs 100k, setup is another good chunk of money, and then telling them to buy another one so that they can participate would kind of suck. But yeah, for an event like this, it would be kind of neat if they all had the same car without any major attachments. I think having some lights at night to show people that you're there, that makes sense, but for full-on spoiler setup with other people just driving without it. But yeah, here we go. 3/4 done, so I think it's going to be 2 more laps, just about. I wish I could get up to the guys in front of me, but yeah, I'm also fighting the car at this point. And yeah, almost made it into the pit lane. The car really didn't want to steer there, so yeah, that happens sometimes. Also, I think we got Batman Bob on the in the pit lane, taking some footage. So that's pretty cool. Got a few highlight reels from him, so that's really quite something. Wish I could show them to you. You might be able to see the last car that I built. Which, unless they manage to let me at this point, we are not going to see. But yeah, that was a major blunder in the first turn, and I'm now fighting for 12th position here. So yeah, here we go. Second to last lap, I'm pretty sure. Although, no, this might actually be the last one. Yeah, other people are finishing. We are definitely in the last lap right now. I'm going to have another one to go here. So I hope I can just stay away from the other guy. And it seems like as long as I don't make a mistake, we should be good here. The checkpoints on the track are a bit inconsistent in terms of if they include the curb or not. But yeah, I managed to make it around here, so we should be fine. 13th place with a bit of space to the next guy. That's all we could really hope for the end here. But yeah, this is the one race on a closed racetrack. The other ones are going to be road races. Second race, I'll still be using the same setup as on this one right here, because in the end the track actually has less of a straight than this one. Oh yeah, and by the way, that was the... let me go back for a moment. That over here, you can see the mouse, that actually is my other car. So at least in the finish we can see them again. Or there, that's the Golf car, and the other guy is coming in right as we speak over here. You can see them on the map. But yeah, here we come to the second race, and let me just point one thing out. I like me a night race. I prefer to have a night race in a car that actually has proper headlights and that kind of thing. I'm maybe a bit old school like that, but I prefer it as something like that and not with, yeah, with an open wheeler that only has a dim brake light. And we are about to head into the night, which is basically a bit of a side effect with how the races work out. You can't just jump from one to the other, you have to repair your car in between, have to refuel, make it over to the next track, which usually, as we can see in the back here, usually there is a spawn point set up either through a house or campy. But yeah, it takes a bit of time, and sadly with how it worked out, we got towards the next track being set up right as night set in again. So this is one of my tracks. This is Baiyang Ring. And we are getting into it right away. Starting on pole, but I don't think that's going to last very long. And yeah, it's going to be very tough seeing things. That was the same for me as well. I actually thought I could take the first turn a bit faster, but no such luck, and yeah, due to that mistake I'm already falling behind, which, I mean, at that point, that's kind of my own fault. But here we go. Down the 4-lane road. But we won't be going onto the highway bridges. We are turning off here at the somewhat new connection road. I would like to have more connections like this on the map. Just for a bit of variety, a bit more route planning. Maybe one is slightly shorter one direction than with another load. But also just for racetrack making, it's nice that every track has like a free limit, a 3-minute race time. Lap time, I mean. But yeah, as it is for the most part outside of cities, the laps are going to be immensely long, and I'm very concerned of cutting anybody off here, so I'm going maybe a bit slower than I otherwise should be. And that's costing me a huge amount of lap, or I mean a huge amount of positions. Jesus Christ, what am I talking about today? Currently seem to be in 12th position, yeah, that sounds about right. But yeah, we have reached the highest point of the track. Turning left here, going to the very dangerous cliffside road. Back down to Baiyang. And honestly, I love how the track turned out. Like, this thing is amazing. On the fastest downhill part you have the widest road. When you turn off into the little side road, that is a massive climb up to the top. And you really have to keep your speed if you want to make a good time doing that. If you want to keep your pace. And then you have the slightly treacherous but also more fast-paced downhill road at the at the cliffside there before going back to Baiyang, and yeah, just coming back around to the start-finish over here. And I'm spinning out. But yeah, the track, in my opinion, really fun. Love the roads. And it also works pretty well for the Formula SCM. So yeah, this was one of the ones I was looking forward the most when it came to this event. Because this is just a really good combination and yeah, suits the car. Yeah, trying to avoid the truck and running straight into a light pole. But yeah, at this point, even during the racing, I felt it hard to see stuff. After the race, it turned out that other people were running with higher moonlight brightness, and I adopted that for the last race, so that one is going to be quite a bit brighter, thankfully. But with this one, I could hardly make out where my car is at some point. So that was not all that amazing. Yeah, I think it was shortly after this event that I made a post about an updated race mode which could potentially get rid of all of these problems. Being able to adjust traffic, time of day, the length of the day, and potentially even freezing time altogether. That would make this kind of racing so much better. But I'm still sometimes able to make positions. I maybe got a bit too ambitious there. So that immediately got me to go sideways, but hey, there's another chance over here. Almost getting overtaken. Can't see shit right now, thanks to the trees giving additional shade. But yeah, I'm still in 11th place, so somewhat far behind, but the racing, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth, there's a lot of good stuff going on, so I'm always happy about that. That's really the stuff that I care most about. I don't really mind if I get in a low position at the end of the day, but the battles and all of that should still be fun. Yeah, I managed to make it out in 10th. Quite the gap to the next people up ahead, but there at least seem to be 2 of them. So maybe I can make it. I honestly don't remember, so yeah. But there are a few laps to go. After all, the track isn't even all that long. Comes out to about the length of Anson. But yeah, the Anson race was a decently long one already. So for this one I want to tune it down a little bit. The third race, I think we can talk more about that once we get there, but actually it isn't the one that I initially planned it to be. We'll get more into the details about that once we start that one. But yeah, this time around I seem to have gotten a pretty good run up here. Catching up to the guys in front, which have also separated. So I may be taking on Finney on their own instead of making it a double feature. But yeah, first I gotta get there in one piece. And with this road and some of the trucks, I think this is the one that I encountered earlier in the lap. It's really not a given, so gotta be careful. Keep an eye on the road. And at the very least make it down in one piece. What makes this track a bit difficult is that there isn't any repair station nearby. I would really like a mobile repair truck at some point, because that would be really nice for on-the-fly pit lanes. We already have refueling trucks, so that makes stuff easier. But yeah, I get that for other purposes it would be a killer for the game if you could just get repairs anywhere. I think in the long run something needs to be done about OG to get stuff like that. And I would like it to be both mobile repair trucks as well as the option to build my own garages, gas stations and that kind of deal on my properties. So that would be a really long-term way to improve the infrastructure on that area. And yeah, I'm completely stuck in the tree now, so that cost me another position. Trying to scoot by here without being in the way of the other guy. But I'm losing another position here thanks to the tree, but at least I made it out after all. And yeah, the thing about the night in this game is it always gets darker shortly before the sun rises, so expect that to the end of the next lap or something, you'll barely be able to see anything anymore. But yeah, I think at daytime this would be quite the nice view that we get from up here. being able to see Ansan Island, Jeju, and some other areas potentially, while overlooking the ocean that stretches out to the horizon. Anyways, enough about the landscaping. Let's talk about the race again, because stuff is still going on. Just overtook another guy who spun out. Trying to not do the same, but yeah, I'm kind of failing at that. I also tried to get out of the way of the other guy, but instead got further into the way. And yeah, now it's actually incredibly dark. Luggage apparently being stuck down there with wanted levels, so that kinda sucks. I think Steven may have gotten out of their vehicle to just spectate at this point, because yeah, if you get stuck with police or that kind of thing, or I think maybe their game was bugging out or something, I don't remember. Something was going on. Yeah, it definitely can be detrimental. And yeah, as you see right now, you don't see very much anymore, because once again, it just gets so bloody dark towards the end. We are in the final lap though, and I think the sun is about to rise. So at least for a bit we should be able to see a bit more, but yeah, overall the entire race being in the dark, or most of it at least, has been not the best thing. But yeah, finally the sun seems to be rising, it's getting a bit brighter, and finally I can see the track again. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, I could put some of the light fixtures on the car, but they are nowhere near as bright as actual headlights, so there would be maybe a bit of an extended marker, but they don't really light up anywhere near enough for me to use them to see in the dark. That just sadly doesn't really work. Okay, Blue Man has already finished the race, finishing in first, actually. Well, look at that. Blue Man with one of my Formula SCMs in first place, Hans in second place, and Adek in fifth place. So 3 of the top 5 are driving my vehicle, and here I am fighting for 10th place. Which, considering that the guy over me is overheating, or the guy in front of me is overheating, I mean, maybe I have a chance? Come on, top 10 is always possible. At least it should be in this race, and yeah, I immediately overcooked it. But so did the guy in front of me, so definitely dangling the 10th place right in front of my nose, and I'll just have to see if I can grab it. Yeah, definitely have the overspeed now. But that was a nasty bump. Dude isn't going to give up, and fair play. Yeah, I completely lost it in the end. Also, getting stuck to another tree doesn't help either. But here we are, second race done. Actually, these ones are quite long after all. On to the third one. Yeah, this is just me recognizing the 3 of my cars are in top 5. Evo, no, LOL. And here we are for the final race. Gangyang Scenic Route, I think is the name. Starting in 5th or 6th position, 3rd row. And here we go. Blue Man right in front of me, and between races, since this one has a rather long straight, I made sure to upgrade all of the FSCMs to the longer final drive ratio. I think it's 3.08. And that's also when I found out that at least 2 of them were already running that final drive ratio. So, bit of a disadvantage in the earlier races, but honestly better that it worked out this way around. It would really suck if they ran out of speed in the longer straight races. And yeah, I'm not necessarily keeping up with Blumen in front of me, which is once again driving an identical vehicle. But at least I'm still in second, so this is going rather well, even though I'm being followed quite closely. Getting onto the cliffside road here. And completely losing it on the curb. I should have been closer to the middle there. There are some cars that can handle the curb like nothing. This is not one of them. So I'm falling back into 6th position here, I think. Yep. But hey, still in the first half of the field, so that's all going pretty well. Trying to avoid the stop sign. And we are about to go on to the little mountain serpentine hike. Don't know what I did with that corner there, but I definitely didn't take it well. Followed very closely by Adek, and I hope I can defend here. We'll have to see. With how the lag and everything is working, I'm usually pretty passive driver. Because there's always a chance that somebody will be slightly desynced and just barreling through me. But yeah, another turn that didn't go really too well. But yeah, here we are. The thing is, I remember doing a test lap and it was amazing, and now in the race I'm really not able to do anything about this. I think I had some other stuff going on IRL at the moment during the race, something that came up pretty acutely, so I wasn't really all there. Still pretty good racing in the grand scheme of things. Looking forward to repeating this kind of event. But yeah, my performance here is really nothing to write home about. And yeah, this is something that I would have liked to avoid, but at least I didn't. I mean, okay, I do fall into the river. Never mind. And I'm going to stay here for a moment because, well, I'm trying to not respawn onto somebody else. But yeah, here we are. Back with DK777, who I seem to be very evenly paced with in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, this is a 3-lap race, so that's a pretty conservative length here. Most events tend to run a bit shorter, but I really want to have decently long races here, so yeah. Also got Madman Bob coming towards me with the drone ride there. Again, pretty amazing footage, even though a lot of it got pretty dark. And yeah, as with the last few races, we are doing this mostly at night. Although at this point I updated my game to just run at 200% moonlight brightness. So we are actually getting quite a bit of light here, and it at least made it good enough for me to see what's going on at night. So at least that's not really an excuse for how this game goes. Other stuff happening, maybe a bit of a different story, but in terms of being able to see, that's definitely a given here. Although I gotta say, what I'm noticing here is that some of the footage feels a bit choppy despite running apparently at a stable 60 FPS. Not really sure what's going on with that, I'll have to look into that. My PC should definitely be able to run the whole thing, including the recording. So not too sure why it's sometimes so choppy, but then again, I remember with this game in particular, when you get FPS drop, it's not like you get a smooth 59 or 58. It feels more like you get 58 out of 60 FPS, and then the last few frames are being skipped. So instead of running smoothly at a lower frame rate, it just gets a bit janky sometimes. Again, the game just needs a lot more optimization. But it seems to be something that isn't really happening consistently. So I'm not entirely sure what's going on. But yeah, I'm currently in a stable 10th position. Once again, Blue Man driving away with one of my cars. Love to see it. If I can't do it myself, I just need to hire different other drivers to do it for me. Maybe I should turn this more into like a manager position. I provide the cars, I make the events, try to rig them for my drivers, and then just get the vehicles out for other people to enjoy. Nah, I wanna keep driving, even if I'm not the best at it. And yeah, coming back around to that tricky braking zone. See if I can do it better this time around. It's always risky staying on the inside there, but it worked out pretty well this time around. Yeah, going through the chicane corners here a bit better than the last time potentially. And also just enjoying the scenery over here. Over the last few updates, the game has really gotten a lot better in terms of the visuals in different areas. Some of them are still a bit empty, but that's an ongoing thing right here. But yeah, back on the main straight for the second lap. Everybody else being a few, or at least 1% behind me, or in front of me, so that's a fair bit. But yeah, there's still something to be gained or to be lost depending on how it goes. Steve had to reset, apparently missed the braking zone, so I have another person to battle with. Doesn't really seem to be having the best time with the car, looking at how much we're sliding around. But yeah, I got the inside, I got a stable line, but I wasn't able to get on the gas early enough. And now I'm sliding out. But hey, that doesn't have to be the end of it. Coming back around to the coastal road with the little harbor down here. But yeah, some people are way further ahead, it seems. Others not too much, but yeah, it seems like two people have given up on the race. And yeah, that corner could have gone a lot better, could have gone a lot worse, considering how much you can get stuck on the curbs. And here we go again up into the mountains. Again, quite a few people up ahead of me that aren't too far away. But then again, with how curvy the road is, I guess the distance to actually get to them would be quite a bit longer. Oh yeah, one thing that I should probably mention at this point, the track that I was actually planning on using was something in the southwest of Jeju Island, going from Hallam down to Olle Speedway, then up towards the water factory and the place where you can drop off the trash. The thing is, they recently at that point changed the road from being quite curvy and squiggly to something that's much more straighter, which I get for general purposes, but for racing, especially in this car, it felt amazing. And as it is right now, it might be better for other vehicles, but for this one, it just didn't feel the same, so I decided to replace the track with this one instead. Doesn't mean that we are never going to see the track. I think it's... Oh yeah, that's also been the one that I showed off in one of the videos where I did the editing for the road changes live. Yeah, we are going to likely see that at some point, but for this series, I felt this was now a better fit than the other one. And with that being said, here is the final corner. I seem to be ending up in 8th place. I mean, I've seen somebody in the river over there while I was talking about a completely different topic here. But here we go. Over the speed bumps. 8th position in the end, my best result for the entire event. Again, Blue Man in one of my cars winning the whole thing. So that's pretty cool, as well as kind of a team leader role. But yeah, it worked out amazingly as an event. I liked the racing. Happy to do this again. Maybe gonna spend a bit more time fine-tuning the cars, but we'll see. Also, I hope that next time we can manage to maybe not make this mainly night racing event that got a bit old at some point. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on the matter what happened today. I mean, again, I know my racing wasn't the best. I should have maybe tried and just go for higher moonlight brightness from the get-go. But I didn't really expect the races to be this night focused. Next event, I don't really know what's going to be next. I want to do my rally event at some point, but we'll see about that. Anyways, until then, have a good one and bye bye.